You're standing at the southern border, the sun just starting to bleed into the sky. It's cold, dusty, and quiet, except for the hum of engines and the shuffle of boots on asphalt. A line of vehicles stretches farther than you can see. Families, workers, people chasing something better, some unaware, some desperate, all looking at you the same way. Authority, control, decision. You wear the badge that decides who gets through and who doesn't. It used to mean something. Now it means leverage, access, power. It starts with a choice. Not a dramatic moment, not a siren-blaring crisis, just quiet pressure building over months, bills stacking higher than your paycheck. Car repairs that drain the last of your savings. A daughter needing braces. Your wife trying not to let the stress show. The weight presses down slowly, invisibly, until it's almost unbearable. And then, he appears, Luis. Parking lot, end of shift, calm, measured, too confident to be random. He doesn't ask how your day was. He doesn't small talk. Ever think about making real money? He says. You should have walked away. Reported him. That's what the training screams at you. But desperation speaks louder. You ask, how much? 15,000 for one night, one truck, no inspection, no one gets hurt, simple, harmless even. That money silences every other thought. Relief outweighs guilt. The math finally works. You shake his hand. And in that instant, you cross a line you'll never uncross. The first time is the hardest. A white truck rolls up after midnight. You recognize the plates from Lewis' description. Your heart hammers against your ribs. You step forward, pause, look inside. And then you wave it through. 8 seconds. That's all it takes. You wait for guilt, fear, shame. What you feel instead is relief. Relief that the bills will get paid. Relief that the pressure eases. Relief that for once the math works. That's how it starts. Not with greed, with relief. Cash comes 2 days later. 15,000 in a gym bag, clean, untraceable. You don't count it right away. You just hold it. Feel the weight of it in your hands, heavier than any truck you've ever waved through. You tell your wife it's a bonus. She smiles, and the smile stays with you longer than anything else. But you know it's built on lies. The second job comes faster than expected, 20,000. Then 25. Luis shows you the system. Specific vehicles, specific lanes, specific times. You're not just looking the other way anymore. You're part of the operation. A piece in something much bigger than yourself. And you are valuable. You have control. You have access. You have the badge. Daniel is your partner. 8 years on the job. 2 kids. The kind of guy who still believes in what this uniform stands for. He reminds you of your father. That's what makes it worse. He trusts you. Completely. Shared meals, long shifts, inside jokes, habits, tells. He knows you better than almost anyone. That trust becomes a problem. He starts noticing things, small things. The kind only a partner notices. You've been taking this lane a lot, he says one afternoon. Just routine, you lie. He nods, but his eyes linger, searching. That's when the paranoia starts. Every glance feels like suspicion. Every question feels like an accusation. You become precise, careful, aware. Watching everyone the way they might be watching you. Luis notices the change. You're thinking too much, he says. Stick to the plan. The plan grows. More vehicles. More coordination. More risk. You aren't a checkpoint officer anymore. You're a gatekeeper. And one mistake could destroy everything. Then it happens. A bag comes through that feels wrong. Heavier than usual. Driver too calm. Your instincts kick in. For a moment, the old you surfaces, the one who followed rules, who cared. You hesitate. Behind you, Daniel is close enough to notice. Close enough to question. Time slows. You have a choice. A real one. Stop it or continue. You let it pass. Later in the parking lot, I need you to be honest with me, Daniel says. What's wrong? You ask. I've been seeing patterns. Certain vehicles, certain times. You say nothing. If something's going on, I can help you, he adds. Help you. That word doesn't belong in your world anymore. I think you're overthinking, you say. He studies your face, searching, then nods. Maybe. But you know he's not convinced. And that's when it hits you, this doesn't last forever. Something always breaks, and when it does, there's no going back. Supervisors start asking more questions. Random checks become less random. New faces appear in the terminal watching too closely. You're no longer the observer, you're being watched. Even Luis changes. Shorter conversations, more urgency. Things are tightening, he says. Stay sharp. A week later, it shifts again. A truck comes that isn't on your list. No warning, no signal. You freeze. This isn't part of the plan. You scan the area. Luis isn't there. Daniel is. Watching, waiting. This isn't routine. This is a test. From both sides. Stop the truck, and you risk exposing everything to Luis. Let it pass, and you confirm everything to Daniel. Chest tightens. This isn't about money anymore. This is survival. And survival doesn't wait. You let it pass. Simple. Quick. Final. The first time you looked the other way started this. Every choice after that is a chain reaction. You're in too deep. Days turn into weeks. The operation scales. Trucks come in the middle of the night. Sometimes two at a time. Sometimes diversions, complex, precise. You coordinate with Luis through encrypted messages and dead drop locations. You become a master at masking everything. Every inspection, every scan, every document processed seems normal to everyone else. But beneath it, you run a hidden layer of control that only you understand. Daniel starts piecing things together slowly, not confrontational, not obvious, just patterns, irregularities, timing, lane assignments. He's good at his job, always has been. You've trusted him for years, and that trust now weighs heavily on you. Because every time he notices something, your mind races. Is this the moment it ends? Will he act? Then it escalates. A big one. Multiple trucks, over several hours a corridor you create. You disable scanners on schedule. Redirect other agents. Fabricate an incident to keep Daniel away from your sector. Coordination perfect. Execution flawless. But the risk is now exponential. One slip, one miscalculation, and everything crumbles. The DIA intercepts one vehicle inland. The driver cracks in 40 minutes. Names, networks, everything. Luis calls you at 2 a.m. Run. No discussion, no hesitation. Only the knowledge that this is no longer business as usual. You grab your essentials, your family, and disappear into the night. Weeks later, in a safe house, the reality hits. Marcus, Daniel's stand-in, or maybe the real Daniel, is dead. The cartel doesn't negotiate with suspicion. They act. Fast, silent, lethal. And the truth is, your survival is tied to betrayal. Your cooperation with the authorities, the wire, the evidence, all made possible because of the life you chose to live for money, for relief, for survival. Witness protection gives new identities, new lives. Your daughter goes to school with a name that isn't hers. Your wife doesn't meet your eyes the same way. The world you knew is gone. The badge, the uniform, the pride, everything sacrificed for a chain of choices that began with a single moment of weakness. Some nights, you replay it in your head. If you'd said no to Luis in the parking lot, if you'd reported him immediately, if you'd been honest with Daniel, a dozen moments where different choices could have saved you, your partner, your life. But it doesn't matter. The first choice set the trajectory. You look at the snow outside the Montana safe house window. Heavy, indifferent, covering everything. It doesn't care about your mistakes. It doesn't care about your relief, your fear, your guilt. Marcus's daughter is 9. She'll grow up knowing her father died trying to do the right thing. You live knowing your choices made that possible. There's no redemption in this story. There's no clean ending. The first time you looked the other way, you didn't just change your job. You changed who you are. And now, years later, with new names, new lives, and the knowledge of the chains you set in motion, you realize the truth. Survival is never clean. And the badge you once wore with pride, now carries the weight of every choice, every compromise, every lie, and every life that was changed because you chose relief over integrity. Because at the end of the day, it isn't the cartel, it isn't the money, it isn't even the law. It's the choice. The first one, and every choice after that, consequence.